Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like life dealt you a bad hand? Like you're stuck in a place where it seems impossible to move forward? Well, I want to tell you a story, my story. A story about how someone without arms and legs can learn to surf, swim, and smile. Yes, smile, because life isn't about what you lack. It's about what you do with what you've been given. You see, I've faced more obstacles than I can count, but none of them have stolen my joy. In fact, the very things you might call my limitations have taught me how to soar higher than I ever dreamed. By the end of this talk, I promise you'll walk away not just inspired, but ready to see your own challenges as the very tools that will shape your greatest victories. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt stuck, like life has thrown you a curveball so hard you're not sure you can get back up? Maybe you've been disappointed, rejected, or faced something that made you feel like giving up. I know that feeling all too well, but today I want to tell you something. No matter what your circumstances are, no matter what challenges you're facing, there is a way to rise above it all. And if I can do it, I promise so can you. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine waking up in the morning unable to get out of bed by yourself. Not because you don't want to, but because you physically can't. Imagine not being able to button your own shirt or hold a cup of coffee. For some of you, this might feel unimaginable, but for me, this has been my everyday reality. I was born without arms or legs, and for the longest time, I thought that meant my life would be small, limited, and insignificant. People looked at me with pity, assuming I couldn't do anything for myself, let alone achieve anything meaningful. And for years, I believed them. I felt like I was less than everyone else, like I had nothing to offer. But one day, something changed. It wasn't some grand, magical moment. It was a simple realization. I understood that the way I viewed my life would define my life. I could either let my limitations hold me back, or I could see them as a challenge to overcome. A story to rewrite. That moment of clarity didn't erase the difficulties I faced, but it gave me something far more important. And hope is the spark that can light up even the darkest corners of your life. I know what you're thinking. It's easier said than done. And you're right. Choosing hope, choosing to fight, choosing to see your potential, it's hard work. There were days when I felt like giving up, days when the weight of my struggles felt too much to bear. But what I've learned is this: when you choose to focus on the possibilities instead of the obstacles, something incredible happens. Your perspective shifts. You stop seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as a warrior. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what can I do with what I have? And that's why I'm here today, to tell you that no matter where you are in life, no matter how big or small your challenges may seem, you have the power to rise above them. You have a choice to make. Will you let your struggles define you, or will you let them refine you? Because the truth is, every obstacle you face is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to inspire. So let me ask you again, have you ever felt stuck? If you have, you're not alone, but you don't have to stay there. By the end of this talk, I promise you'll see your challenges in a new light. Not as barriers, but as stepping stones to a brighter, stronger, and more fulfilled version of yourself. The message at the heart of this talk is simple yet profound. Limitations do not define your potential or your purpose in life. Too often we let the things we perceive as our weaknesses overshadow what we are truly capable of achieving. It might be a physical limitation, a difficult past, a fear of failure, or even a voice in your head telling you that you're not good enough. These things whisper lies into our hearts, convincing us that our worth is tied to what we lack or what we can't do. But let me tell you the truth, your potential is far greater than you can imagine, and it has nothing to do with what's missing. It's about what's already inside you. When I look at my life, I see something incredible, not because it's been easy or because I've had extraordinary luck, but because I made a choice. I chose not to let my circumstances dictate my destiny. Without arms or legs, I've had more reasons than most people to feel limited, defeated, or even angry at the world. But I realized early on that if I let those feelings control me, they would steal every chance I had to live a meaningful life. And that realization transformed the way I saw myself and my future. It's not about ignoring the challenges or pretending they don't exist. The truth is, we all face difficulties, and they are very real. Some are physical, some emotional, some financial, and some are scars no one else can see. But the key is understanding that these challenges are not walls, they are hurdles. And hurdles, while they might slow us down or make the path harder, are meant to be overcome. They don't stop us from reaching the finish line. They give us a reason to fight harder to get there. This message applies to every single one of us. Maybe you've been told you're not smart enough, talented enough, or strong enough to achieve your dreams. Maybe you've internalized those lies and let them shape how you see yourself. But I want you to pause for a moment and ask yourself this: who gets to decide what I'm capable of? The answer isn't your circumstances, your past, or even the people around you. The answer is you. You have the power to define your own potential. I've met people who have every advantage in life, health, wealth, opportunities, yet they feel empty and lost because they're focused on what they don't have. or what they think they lack. On the other hand, I've met people who have faced unimaginable hardships but radiate joy and purpose because they've learned to look beyond their limitations. The difference isn't in their circumstances, it's in their mindset. The core of this message is that your value isn't determined by what you can't do. It's determined by the unique gifts, strengths, and perspectives you bring to the world. When you embrace that truth, the doors to your potential swing wide open, and suddenly what seemed impossible becomes possible. The limits are not outside of you, they are only in your mind. And the good news is you can break free. Living beyond limitations isn't just about surviving despite your challenges, it's about using those challenges to grow, to learn, and to inspire others. Every obstacle you face has the potential to become a stepping stone in your journey, but only if you choose to view it that way. Life's hurdles are not things we should fear, they are opportunities to transform ourselves into better, more resilient versions of who we are. Overcoming limitations doesn't happen by avoiding difficulty, it happens by embracing it, facing it head on, and using it as fuel for your personal evolution. When I think about my own life, there are many moments I could point to where I faced limitations. Without arms or legs, things that most people take for granted, like opening a door, writing a note, or even giving a hug, or tasks that I have to approach in a completely different way. But these very tasks that seem so simple to others have taught me some of my greatest lessons. They've taught me patience, creativity, and resourcefulness. They've taught me to ask for help when needed and to be okay with imperfection. But most importantly, they've taught me that the only real limit is the one I place on myself. I remember when I first started trying to do things that others thought were impossible for me. For years, I believed I couldn't swim because of my physical condition. But then one day, a friend challenged me to give it a try. At first, it seemed like an impossible task. I had no legs to kick with, no arms to pull myself through the water. But with patience, perseverance, and the help of some incredible people, I learned how to move through the water in my own way. Today, swimming is one of the activities I cherish most. Not only did I overcome my physical limitation, but I gained confidence and a new sense of possibility. I realized that every challenge has its own unique solution, one that might not look the same as anyone else's, but is just as powerful. This idea extends far beyond physical limitations. It applies to mental and emotional challenges too. Life is filled with moments when we feel like we're not enough, like our past mistakes define us, or our weaknesses will always hold us back. But let me tell you this, your mistakes don't have to be the end of your story. Your failures don't have to define you. The pain you've experienced doesn't have to determine your future. You have the ability to rewrite your story at any time, to turn those limitations into lessons and to grow stronger in the process. In fact, when you push through a limitation and overcome it, you not only change your life, you change the lives of those around you. The power of living beyond your limitations is that it doesn't just inspire you, it sparks something in others. People will look at you and see that if you can do it, so can they. You become a beacon of hope, showing them that they too can push past their struggles and discover a world of endless possibilities. Every limitation, whether physical, mental, or emotional, is an invitation to grow. It's an invitation to rise to a challenge that at first may seem impossible, but can ultimately lead to your greatest transformation. And in that transformation, you will find that the world opens up to you in ways you never imagined possible. So don't shy away from your limitations. Use them as stepping stones, and you'll discover that you are capable of far more than you ever believed. Faith and gratitude are two of the most powerful forces in overcoming any challenge you face. They are often underestimated, yet they are at the core of resilience and transformation. Faith doesn't just mean believing in something greater than yourself. It's about trusting in your ability to overcome, to learn, and to grow even in the toughest of times. It's the inner strength that tells you that no matter how hard the journey gets, you can still make it through. Gratitude, on the other hand, shifts your focus from what's missing to what's abundant in your life. It doesn't mean ignoring your struggles. Rather, it's about acknowledging that despite them, there are still things to be thankful for, and that perspective changes everything. I've experienced firsthand the power of faith in my life. For years, I felt the weight of my physical limitations holding me back, but over time, I realized that my faith wasn't just about accepting my circumstances, it was about believing that I could do something with them. It's easy to lose sight of what's possible when the road ahead looks dark or unclear, but faith has a way of illuminating the way forward. It gives you the courage to take one more step, even when you're not sure what that step will lead to. For me, that faith meant believing in the possibility of a meaningful life, despite not having arms or legs. And every time I took that step, it opened doors to new opportunities, new lessons, and new triumphs. Gratitude, too, has been transformative in my journey. It's easy to focus on what you don't have, what you've lost, or what seems out of reach. When I was younger, I often found myself asking, why me? Why did I have to be born this way? Why couldn't I have a life like everyone else? But over time, I learned that living in that mindset only deepened my pain. Gratitude, on the other hand, shifted my focus. It allowed me to look at the things I did have, the love of family and friends, my health, my mind, and appreciate them fully. When you start looking at what you do have instead of what you don't, everything changes. You realize that even in the midst of hardship, there's still beauty, joy, and abundance to be found. One of the most profound lessons I've learned is that gratitude doesn't come from everything being perfect. It comes from acknowledging the imperfections and still choosing to find joy. I can't change the fact that I don't have arms or legs, but I can choose to be grateful for the life I do have. I can be grateful for the love and support that surrounds me, for the lessons I've learned, and for the ways I've been able to impact others. And that gratitude fuels my faith. It reminds me that no matter what challenges I face, I can face them with a heart full of hope and a mind focused on what's possible. Faith and gratitude together create a powerful mindset that can carry you through anything. When you believe that you are capable and worthy, and when you choose to focus on the blessings in your life rather than the burdens, you unlock a level of resilience that is unstoppable. They are the pillars that support you when you feel like giving up, and they are the light that guides you through the darkest times. Embracing both faith and gratitude in your life can transform how you see your challenges, and it will change the way you approach everything you do. Hope and impact are two of the most powerful forces that can drive you forward when you feel like everything is against you. Hope isn't just a fleeting feeling or a wish that things will get better. It's the deep, unshakable belief that change is possible, that the future holds something better than today. Hope doesn't ignore the reality of your struggles. It acknowledges them and yet refuses to be defeated by them. Hope is what keeps you going when all seems lost. It's the quiet voice inside that reminds you that even in the darkest of times, there is light on the other side. The power of hope is something I've seen countless times, not just in my own life, but in the lives of others. When I was younger, I faced many moments when I felt like giving up. I would look at the things I couldn't do and feel frustrated, even hopeless. But in those moments, I would remind myself that my current circumstances didn't define me. Hope kept me moving forward, even when I didn't know exactly where I was headed. Hope was the belief that no matter what, I had a future filled with purpose, even if it didn't look like anyone else's. Hope is contagious too. When you live with hope, you inspire others to do the same. I've seen people in similar situations as mine, people who were faced with seemingly impossible obstacles, choose to live with hope and in turn inspire everyone around them. Your hope, your refusal to give up, sends a message to the world that no matter the challenges, it's possible to keep moving forward. The impact of that is far-reaching. It doesn't just affect you, it impacts your community, your family, your friends, and even complete strangers who see your story and feel encouraged. But hope isn't enough on its own. It needs to be paired with action. And that's where impact comes in. The hope that lives inside of you is meant to fuel the work you do in the world. It's meant to inspire you to take action, to push past fear, and to create change not just for yourself, but for others as well. Impact is about making a difference, whether that's in the life of one person, your community, or even on a global scale. And it doesn't take grand gestures to make an impact. Sometimes it's the small, seemingly insignificant acts that have the greatest ripple effect. For example, I've had people come up to me after talks and tell me that hearing my story changed their life. They didn't expect to be moved or inspired, but something in my journey gave them the courage to face their own challenges. That's impact. That's the power of hope and action combined. You may not always see the immediate results of your actions, but I promise you they are having an effect. Every time you choose to live with hope and act on that hope, you are leaving a legacy that will touch lives in ways you can't even imagine. Living with hope and creating impact is a choice. It's choosing to believe in the possibility of something better, even when everything around you says otherwise. It's choosing to take what you've been given, no matter how imperfect, and make something beautiful out of it. And by doing that, you inspire others to do the same. When you live this way, you are not only creating a better future for yourself, but you're also lighting the way for others to follow. Your hope can be the spark that ignites change, not just in your own life, but in the lives of everyone you encounter. The journey of life is never smooth, and we often find ourselves questioning why certain things happen or why we face challenges that seem too difficult to overcome. But the reality is that adversity is a fundamental part of life's process, and it is how we handle these challenges that determines our growth and success. Embracing challenges is essential not just for personal development, but for discovering our true potential. Challenges, though uncomfortable, are the catalyst for building strength, resilience, and character. Without them, we would never know the depth of our own capabilities. When I reflect on my life, I realize that the challenges I faced have been the very things that have shaped me into who I am today. Without the obstacles I encountered, both big and small, I wouldn't have learned the valuable lessons that now guide me. Sure, there were times when the weight of those challenges felt unbearable and the path ahead seemed uncertain, but every single struggle taught me something new. Whether it was about patience, perseverance, or finding creative solutions to problems that seemed impossible, each challenge was an opportunity for growth. It's often the most difficult times in life that bring out the best in us because they force us to dig deep within ourselves and find strengths we didn't even know we had. The truth is, challenges push us to expand our limits. They show us that we are capable of so much more than we often give ourselves credit for. When we step outside of our comfort zones and confront the things that intimidate us, we unlock new layers of our potential. In the face of hardship, you discover how resourceful you can be, how determined you can become, and how much power you have to overcome. Each obstacle teaches you something about your capacity to endure, adapt, and rise above what once seemed insurmountable. Moreover, challenges are not meant to define us as weak or incapable. They are part of the human experience, a universal truth that no one is exempt from. We all face obstacles in different forms. Some are physical, some are emotional, some are professional, and some are deeply personal. But each of us has the strength to face those obstacles and in many cases emerge stronger and more resilient because of them. It's all about perspective. When you begin to see challenges not as threats or barriers, but as opportunities for growth, you start to approach them with a different mindset. Rather than running away from adversity, you face it head on with courage and determination, knowing that each challenge is a stepping stone to something greater. What's even more remarkable is that overcoming challenges is not a solitary experience. As you push through your own struggles, you become an example to others. Your journey, your strength, and your perseverance inspire people around you to keep going when they feel like giving up. Your story serves as proof that it's possible to rise above, to push through, and to succeed no matter how difficult the circumstances may seem. In that way, the challenges you face become not only transformative for you, but also for the people who look up to you and are encouraged by your example. The beauty of life is that it's not about avoiding challenges, it's about embracing them and allowing them to teach us, shape us, and guide us toward our highest potential. Life isn't easy and it's never meant to be. But if we allow ourselves to face challenges with a mindset of growth and resilience, we'll come to realize that there is nothing we can't overcome. The key is understanding that challenges aren't roadblocks to success. They are the very things that prepare us for it.